we jamming. Tell my neighbor come over. He telling me load on music. He telling me that's ain't right. The neighborhood quiet as ever. No problems to sleep at night. I tell him I love me soca. The music hot like a true love. Bring your body, come on out here. Move your body just like you don't care. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All our ways just jam together. I tell him it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All our ways just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. He said he just can't do that. He never hear music, so I tell him that's how we do it. Bring up what's on there, let's ride. It's a love effect in all night. Come join and feel the vibe. I tell him just come over, enjoy yourself, no pressure. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. The music pumping big time, and woman taking small wine. Oh yeah, we in the street wet. We jamming, enjoying the fun. Something say look in the corner. It's my neighbor, he come over. He hand in the air, he jamming. On a bumper, hips just moving. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. What went on, I don't know. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell them it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. Yes, my neighbor. Jamming, jamming. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. Yes, my neighbor. We jamming, we jamming. We jamming, we jamming. Yes, my neighbor. Yes, my neighbor. I tell him come over,
Come over.
neighbor.
Greetings, 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 and salutations, one and all. Inviting all my neighbors to come through.
Telling me load on music. He telling me
Welcome to the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele.
what has happened
It's Community and Finance Night.
at night. I tell him I love me.
How y'all doing?
Music hot like a true love. Bring your body, come on out here. Move your body just like you don't care. We jamming it so sweet.
I want to say big up to each and everyone locked in right now.
Bring your waist from walk to the soca.
Those on tune in radio on the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele.
Tell him it's so sweet. Feel the
Blessings to you.
heat. And bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell him it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so
I want to say,
nice. He moves
I'm here watching what my guest is doing.
soca loud and loud.
Big ups to those on tune in radio.
He said he just can't do that. He never hear music, so I tell
And big up to those who are hailing from across the pond, One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK.
him
Much love to you.
and feel the vibe. I tell him just come over, enjoy yourself, no pressure. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist, come
I want to say blessings to those who are locked in out to New Jersey, NIE Radio.
change your mind and don't think twice. I tell him it's so nice.
Big ups to Motivator.
He moving the whole crowd, singing soca loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. The music pumping big time, and woman taking small wine. Oh
Alright, sorry, I'm multitasking. Doing things here. Hold on a minute. Let me do one thing at a time right now because trying to get something started out with my guest here.
I tell them it's so sweet. Feel the rays and feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jump together. Yes, my neighbor. Jamming. We jamming, it's so sweet. Feel the rays and feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jump together. We jamming, it's so sweet. Feel the rays and feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jump together. I tell them it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell them it's so nice. He moving the whole crowd. Sing a soca loud and loud. Yes, my neighbor, no control. Yes, my neighbor. We jamming, we jamming. We jamming, we jamming. Yes, my neighbor. Yes, my neighbor. I tell them come over, come over, come over. Yes, my neighbor. Jamming, we jamming.
Trying to reconnect with my guest here.
Jamming, we jamming.
Having some technical issues over on his side. Kicking things off with the sound of Shelly Sweet Shells. The track is called My Neighbor.
Jamming, we jamming. Jamming, we jamming. Tell my neighbor come over.
Okay, let me go ahead and take care of my formalities
Music.
while my guest tries to get back onto this call.
The neighborhood white as ever. No problems to sleep at night. I tell them I love me soca.
I want to say big ups to those who are on One Harmony Radio over there in the UK. Top of the morning to you guys over there. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate love you.
And it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm.
King Genius, Queen Genius, much love to you. Thank you for the support.
We just jump to
I want to say big ups to those who are locked in out of New Jersey, NIE Radio, the motivator.
the heat. And bring your waist from one.
Enough love to you.
All of we just jump together. I tell them it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell
Big ups to those who are locked in out of New York, those hailing on island worldwide, exhibiting the power of music. Much love to you. China Nicole, Gary, much love. Big ups to the Jump Out Productions crew.
that he never hear music, so I tell them that's how we do it.
I want to say big ups to those who are locked in out of Long Island, New York,
Till all night.
on Reggae Pulse Radio. Big ups to you.
Tell them just come over. Enjoy yourself.
Much love to those who are locked in South Florida, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com.
Bring your waist, come walk.
Big ups to the veteran, Mr. Twinkle Toes, Mr. Lindsay himself.
Tell them it's so nice. Change your mind and don't think twice. I tell them it's so nice.
Blessings to those who are hailing out of Texas, Oliwap Radio, Dusik Media Group,
Sing it so loud and loud. It's
WGLRO, the People Station, home of the Donny Walker Morning Show.
the music comes in.
Taking it from the sheets to the streets, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Much love, Donny.
I'm enjoying this that. Something say look in the corner.
Big ups to those on PEMGTV.com.
He hand in the air, he jamming. On a bumper, it says moving.
Yeah, man, we're family long time.
Crowd, sing it so loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. What went on, I don't know. He moving the whole crowd. Sing it so loud and loud. It's my neighbor, no control. We jamming it so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell them it's so sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from
I want to say
just jam together.
thank you to each and everyone locked in right now. Truly appreciate love you. Those on Clubhouse, those on Facebook Live, Tune in Live.
We jamming it so sweet.
Big ups and blessings to you. Invite you to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too.
So sweet. Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist, come walk to the soca. All of we just jam together. I tell them it's
call somebody, anybody, everybody. Son of Shelly Sweet Shells. The track is called My Neighbor. I want to say big ups to my segment sponsors. Thank you very much. Pulse Media Group and Being in a Moment is priceless. Give them a call. They'll take care of your videos, your photos, your streaming, your advertising, and much, much more. You have a church service, a wedding, a funeral, a party, a graduation that you want to stream live on a secure platform, whether yours or theirs. Give them a call. 754-999-1140. That's 754-999-1140. Thank you very much, Pulse Media Group. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, over 20 years massage therapy experience. Give her a call, 954-655-9000. She only has one request outside of paying her, that you get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It's called the Kevin Stew Clause. Always falling asleep on her table. Thank you, Althea. Go ahead and get connected with Reggae Global Radio and Reggae Global Entertainment. Thank you, Reggae Global. Reggae Global act as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and much, much more. Go ahead and give them a call, 954-804-8199. Go ahead and you can also connect with them online at reggaeglobal.com. If you know you have a neighbor that is moving, go ahead and tell them to get connected with McNeil Trucking.
That's how we do it. Bring up what's on there, let's run.
McNeil Trucking are licensed and insured movers in the state of Florida. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Numbers to call, 954-406-9740. That's 954-406-9740. Tell them Kevin Stew sent you. Alright, now so we have things sorted out on this side. Hey Patrick, see if you can get a little bit centered in your camera for me, please. As he sorts out his camera, switching cameras.
We jamming it so sweet, feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca, all of we just jam together.
I'm gonna need for you to get a little bit higher in this camera, Patrick.
Bring your waist from walk to the
I'm only seeing the top of your head.
just jam together. Yes, my neighbor. Jamming.
You could use the other shot you had earlier. You know.
Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca, all of we just jam together.
That one gave a better view.
So sweet, feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca, all of we just jam together.
Okay, we can work with this one too. Alright, go ahead and call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. I'm doing some multitasking here.
Feel the rhythm, feel the heat. Bring your waist from walk to the soca. All of we just jump to.
So sometimes we have situations where we live in certain circumstances, and there's really not much that we can do about those circumstances. It just so happens that it work out a certain way. Patrick, I'm gonna need you to be higher in that camera.
All of we just jump together. We jamming it so sweet.
Or if you can move the camera low, any which way. Yeah, that's a better look.
I tell them it's so nice.
Because we need people to be able to see you, you know?
It's so nice. He moving the whole crowd. Sing it so loud and loud.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is live broadcasting. And we're talking about multimedia broadcasting. Those of you who are not familiar, those on Clubhouse, those on Facebook Live, do remember, it's only a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable. Come on over to kevinstew.com. The link is there in the description, pinned in the comment section. Come on over, be a part of the whole broadcast. Don't be shy. Call your friends, tell your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too, because what we're talking about tonight, listening to Patrick's story, you're gonna want to hear this. Thank you, Shelly Sweet Shells, native of South Florida. The track is called My Neighbor. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Any other adjustments I need to make, I can make on the fly. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for the remainder of this broadcast, the one and only. You are new to him, but me not so much. Patrick here. Patrick, welcome to the broadcast, bro. Friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Because what we're talking about tonight, I have listening to Patrick's story. You're gonna want to hear this. I'm hearing you. Okay. I got that sorted out. Multiple things going on here. Patrick, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Thanks to everyone locked in right now. This is Patrick here. Patrick, welcome again to the Night Shift of DJ Kevin Stew.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you reached out to me a little while ago and said, "Hey, Kevin, you know, I'm going through some things here, and I need to tell my story." And so you started giving me a little bit of an overview of what was going on with your living conditions.
Yes.
And so we agreed that we would share this basically with the world. You know, what it is that you have been dealing with, what it is that you're going through, how long you have been dealing with this, and whatever steps that you had tried to make to rectify the situation. And so if you could just quickly give an introduce yourself to the world, basically, because the broadcast goes far.
Well, y'all got to bear with me because I'm a little bit nervous. This is my first time, in a long time being on camera. My background basically is entertainment. I stepped away from the entertainment field for a good while. And because I had to be able to step in and help out my elderly mother. I gave all that away for her. Mm-hmm. And the event of it, in around 2015, my mother was given a notice that she had to move from the apartment that she was staying in.
Okay.
And basically when she had to move, I reached out to a friend who I've known over 30 years. And to think that, this woman had my interest in the best hand, because like I said, I know this woman over 30 years. Mm-hmm. I used to babysit her kids, but she was in the nursing field, and when she didn't have anybody else to watch over her kids.
Yes.
Nothing never happened to her kids. I made sure her kids was okay. There was even one time recently that I watched over her kids that was going out to the mall, and I prevented them from for getting arrested for shoplifting, which their cousins got arrested for shoplifting, but they didn't, because I pulled them to the side because I didn't want them to experience that life. That was something I didn't want for them. So basically, to kind of like make a long story short, we were showed several apartments, and there was not many apartments that we really actually liked, but we were actually pressed for time.
Gotcha.
So when we were finally showed an apartment, and I don't want to disclose the location, but when we were finally showed an apartment in the area of Fort Lauderdale, um basically everything seemed fine, but there was something that kind of bothered me. From the time that we were introduced to this guy by the name of Robert Pastori, and young lady that I was telling you about, her name is Michelle Daly Nagari of Creative Real Estate and Projects. That's on the corner of Broward and 7th Avenue.
Okay.
And Robert Pastori, and this is later on down the line, you'll find out that he was also a realtor in Miami. And I think it's One Path Realty. So when we were actually signing the lease, I felt something funny because neither one of them could really actually look me or my mother in the face while signing that lease agreement. I felt there was something wrong, and it just something that's when my instinct kicks in like that, and I know it's just when you have a niche about something and you know something ain't right,
Right.
and the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. So basically, as time went on, I started noticing things. And if you never been to an experience of mold, being in a mold infested apartment, it's one of the strangest experiences ever, because you'll start noticing mold that will start growing on your clothes. It will start going on different parts of furniture. You'll start having different health conditions. I was medically treated for a respiratory infection that I don't know where this came from. My mother had been going through a lot of things as far as medical conditions. And when I went back and I researched a lot of this stuff, I was like, well, why is she feeling that way all the time? And why am I feeling this way all the time? Such as my eyes being irritated, blood in your stool. It's just different things. So being that it was kind of difficult because I'm trying to take care of my elderly mother, and whatever little money that I had coming in, I had to try to take that to survive, and help her. And what actually, I just got to the point when I did get a lump sum of money, I took that and I said, you know what, I'm going to investigate and I'm going to have a mold test done. When I had that mold test done, that opened up a whole can of worms, because now I was able to see what the problem was. So in 2015, when my mother was given that notice that she had to find a new apartment, around about that time, I started noticing strange characteristics about my mother. And I felt that she was possibly suffering from Alzheimer's. but I never been through that situation before, so I didn't know what to look for, what signs to look for. Eventually, as time went on, and especially becoming inside of this apartment, she started acting more peculiar and everything, and it's just like her comprehension and everything. It was just real crazy,
Okay.
So it was just certain things that was growing on, around the house, and like from you cooking utensils. It was going on cooking utensils. It was oh man, the couch. Um, it was just different areas of the house, in the toilet, in the inside of the toilet. It's an orange ring that always came back like every 2 months, and it had a stench that was so
Foul.
yes, very foul. And it was just crazy. And I sent some pictures to Kevin, so
Yeah.
so you guys can see some of these pictures. And the bathroom towel, if you would look at the bathroom towel, you would see the mold that's actually growing inside of that area. um
Yeah, I'll be showing
that's
some of these
not
pictures a little bit later on.
Yeah, and that's not just the face of it. when when I did a little bit more research after I got the mold test,
Mm-hmm.
this is, like I said, this is when it opened up a can of worms, because I had started noticing like silverfish.
Yeah.
It was roaches coming out of nowhere. The roaches was taking over so badly that you couldn't even lay down a plate of food. You couldn't even lay on the couch. You couldn't even lay in your bed. I'm talking about like roaches were like everywhere, crawling all on the wall. When I first reached out to the original owner, which was Robert Bustori, before he sold it over to Zenith Way, which I believe Zenith Way, Robert Bustori, and Michelle Dalinagari of Creative Real Estate and Projects,
Mm-hmm.
all of them were working together.
You think so?
So yes, it's just so coincidental, that how things laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Um and when there's so much stuff that went down. But when it I lost my thought, man. It's just
So
but
you were describing the apartment, the unit, with the mold and the
in the
roaches.
roaches.
Yes.
Yes, the roaches were so bad. Like I said, you couldn't even lay down a plate of food. You couldn't lay on the couch. You couldn't even lay in the bed. And it was just so horrifying. So when I did reach out to Robert Bustori, which was the original owner, he basically came, and when he did repairs in his house, it was always secondhand. But when it was concerning the mold, the only thing that he did was sprayed a little substance under my mother's kitchen and said to always keep the AC unit on.
Mm.
And but it was still mold growing everywhere. So when I reached out to the proper authorities, like Broward County Housing Authority, they still were basically taking the um they were taking the Zenith Way side. And I kept wondering for like, wow, this is kind of strange. For like 7 years that I've been complaining about this issue, and nothing is done, and we're still inside of this apartment.
That's
So
that's where you are right
the
now.
Yes. So the problem that actually came up, it was because my mother was afraid to give me the power of attorney, being fearful for whatever reason that she had, or she was being manipulated by somebody. But when I finally did get the power of attorney to be able to step in about the situation, um and be a voice for her, that's when it became a problem to Zenith Way. Because as long as I wasn't in the picture,
Mm-hmm.
Zenith Way was okay with it. But
All
as
right.
soon as I came in the picture, that's when Zenith Way tried to get me out of the picture, so I couldn't step in for my mother. They wanted me to get me off of the lease to where I couldn't step in for my mother. And they've been coaching her, when they were fined, when they were served with the notice to cure. They really have been reaching out to her and trying to manipulate her and get her on the one-to-one basis, and this to trick her and to stay in this, mold infested apartment. And I couldn't see that far. I couldn't see that far at all. Not when it comes to my mother. I've been through a lot of things in my life, and one thing that I don't play about is I don't play about my mother at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm a cool and calm and collected person. But I say, you know what? If I'm gonna go to bat for somebody, I'm gonna go to war for somebody. I'm gonna go to war for my mother, and that's straight up and down.
All right. So you. All right. Let me show a few of these pictures real quick, because I I guess this is how people will get an understanding of what exactly it was that was happening, or some of the things that you were talking about as it relates to inside your apartment. Here is a picture of roaches. These are roaches that you have killed. Spraying, roach treatment, pest control that you did
Yes,
in the unit.
yes. You have to put down roach on poison in these bottle caps, and that's all throughout the house, or these roach pellets. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the only way that you can keep the roaches down. But it got so bad to the point at one time where when you putting down the roach poison, the roaches look right back at you and laugh, and it's like, oh, you got to come with something stronger than that.
Mm. Mm. This one here is a picture of your extension cord
Yeah,
with mold
that's
on
an
it.
extension cord. Yes, and that's the mold growing on side it on that.
Okay, so
Mold attaches itself to everything.
well, let me not go there yet. This one is
That's my keyboard. It started growing on my keyboard. And especially on the inside, I had to have my keyboard repaired, because of the functions, the MIDI functions, it was so much of mold that was growing on inside of there. And one of the repairmen at Sam Ash, and he was like, "What do you got going on in the environment that you in, man?" Because he was like, "Hey, it's some substance that's inside of here, man, in your keyboard." And he would say it was so much of it. He said he didn't even think that he can get my board back to working.
wow. Not that one. This one.
And that's cooking utensils. That's the mold will grow on the cooking utensils.
Here we have your guitar case.
Yep, and it was growing on there. and that's my other keyboard
Case.
um case. I had that in the closet. That was one of my first signs that I noticed about the mole. That was my very first sign because it wasn't even like a month or two, and I started noticing, things, and that was one of the first things. So I thought, well, maybe I had got it wet or something like that. I never even, I never experienced this. This is new to me. I'm foreign to this. But I learned as you learn as you go.
So you moved into this unit back in 2015,
2015, yes.
and you started seeing mold when?
I started I started seeing it like maybe possibly like a year, you know, but it wasn't that bad, you know. Um it was just little signs that was coming out, and another thing that I want to state,
Mm-hmm.
that if I recall, and if I'm not mistaken, when we first moved into this apartment, I seen a sticker on the door,
Mm.
and I thought about that. And then there was neighbors that stayed in the same apartment. One of the girls that moved out of this apartment, when she moved out of the other apartment in the back of us, she was the one that actually came to me before she moved out of these apartment complexes altogether and told me that the reason why she moved out of this apartment is because her son got sick with asthma very bad.
And how long ago was that?
And that was like a year ago. That's when I was able to get the mold test done around about that time.
And the roaches was you were having that. You started having that experience when?
The roaches was in dormant when we first moved in. They
Okay.
were in dormant. So basically, while they were in dormant, when the hurricane hit in 2014, everything was all the rodents were basically on the roaches. They were in dormant, so they were in sleeping stage. So when the eggs hatched, which probably about 2 years after, when the eggs hatched,
Mm.
then you started seeing more of the roaches getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and it got so bad to the point where I was like, wow, where is this coming
So
from?
so this was happening throughout the building.
I Yes, throughout this whole apartment.
About how many units are we talking about in this building?
In this unit, as far as the roaches are concerned, I know in this particular unit, I know they had in this apartment they had roaches. I don't know about other apartments
Other
if they were
buildings.
having that problem, but in other apartments when we first moved over here, I noticed that a lot of the apartments were being renovated,
Gotcha.
meaning that they had to tear down the drywall.
Yes.
So, and I did see that same particular sticker on their um
On their
on
door.
their door. But if you never experienced this thing before, it's new to you. You don't know.
Right. Right.
And it's just, when I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together, that's when I realized that they got over me and my mother.
All right. So here you are in this unit, and you're starting to see roaches. and you're starting to see evidence of mold, why not leave?
I kept telling my mother there was problems.
Yeah.
She was so much in denial and stating that it was a mold in that place. And after I got the mold test done and I said, hey, we got a problem. And I think we need to, to react on it. She was still in denial on a lot of things. It's kind of hard to tell a person that's older and that's elderly
Mm-hmm.
About a situation that's very harmful to them, and they would rather stay in the conditions, or when you have these people that keep ghosting her up and having her scared, so much to the point to just accept it and just live in those conditions, and being that I didn't have the power of attorney to really step in, anything that I said, it didn't mean anything because I didn't have the power of attorney. Once I got that power of attorney, then things changed. Then people started listening to whatever I had I was saying, and then they started taking action. But as long as I didn't have that power of attorney, everything was dead. And these people were getting over on my mother. So when I first sent in the notice to them, and which it wasn't it was a notice to cure the situation, but it wasn't in the proper format. It was just an email.
Mm.
So when I sent that email, they never did anything. Before they brought this property from Robert Bastori, I warned them in 2017. I warned them. I say, hey, I think it's traces of mold in this apartment before you buy it. The guy, the representative that the representative that came out, he totally ignored me and say he didn't even see traces of mold. And I showed him the areas on where it was existing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he still didn't do anything. So I sent out an email and nothing was done. They always went through my mother. So,
well, if she is the point of contact, if it's her name on the lease,
right,
then
right,
she's the one that
right.
they're gonna have to talk with.
Because I was just a caregiver.
Right.
So that's what the whole situation was. I was just a caregiver.
Okay.
Oh, I couldn't step in because I didn't have the power of attorney to step in.
All right. So one moment, just before we go on much further, I'm gonna part company with those on Clubhouse, those on Facebook. Thank you all for your support. Do come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast. The link is kevinstew.com. It's simple. You don't, and you can participate in the chat room there. Just click on join chat. You can remain anonymous if you wish. You can give your name if you wish. We just ask that you be respectful. Of course, the phone lines are open. I didn't say that earlier, but the phone lines are always open. 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. They can, and I'll get your messages. You can call by using those methods too. I will get your phone call. So contact me. Let me hear your comments. You have questions? Of course, some of you will. Share them with me. Much love to the family of Marvin Haynes. You guys keep your head up. Tell Marvin to hang in there. Help is on the way. All right? So those of you on Facebook Live, come on over. kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. Home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Catch you all over there. So I understand, Patrick, for those of you just tuning in, those on the affiliate stations, thank you. we have a few affiliate stations across the United States and over in the UK. One Harmony Radio, NIE Radio, Island Worldwide, Reggae Pulse Radio, PEMGTV.com, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, Oliwap Radio, Dusic Media Group, WGLRO. Thank you all. Truly appreciate of you and thank you for the support. When it comes to taking care of someone, Patrick, it can be a little bit tricky. I get it. I haven't had the opportunity you have to take care of a parent. Both my parents have transitioned. My father's transition was really quick, from healthy to sick to moving over. And for a good portion of my mother, her period through cancer, I was here in the United States, but she was functional until the very end, where she just took ill and then she quickly transitioned at that point. So I haven't had the opportunity you have to take care of a parent. And here you are with your mother. And I understand, especially when it comes to elderly parents, they can be stubborn sometimes. And set in their ways, if they're somewhere that they're comfortable, they don't want to go. They just want to stay right there. I get it. But at some point in time, you as the caregiver are going to have to step in and say, hey, listen, you may not like it, but this is what we're going to have to do. This is in your best interest. You know, we have a saying in Jamaica, once a man, twice a child. So here it is, as you would have taken care of a child, instructing them on how to do, what to do, and sometimes doing things that they don't even like, just because it's in their best interest. The same thing with the elderly. And I would think that at some point in time, you'd say to your mother, okay, this is a situation that I don't want to be in, you don't want to be in. Let's go. And I understand you mentioned that there was financial constraints in the midst of it. So you did get some money in, and you managed to get a mold test done. Now, I could be wrong, but across the United States, once you sign a lease, there's an agreement between you and the landlord that you would have decent living conditions. So if something goes wrong, if, as according to your lease, you have they provide pest control, things like that, then they have to abide by it. But at the basis of it all, as a renter, you are pretty much guaranteed a habitable environment. Mold and roaches don't really constitute habitable. It's not comfortably habitable. So you said you made complaints to them and then you reached out to the health department?
I reached out to Broward County Housing Authority.
Okay, the housing authority.
And I spoke with them. Whoever was on the case or whatever, I started going over people, to trying to get some, to get this case done. But it seems like, they always, or something that stayed in my mind all the time was, why do they keep relying on the testimony of a 75-year-old woman compared to her son that is complaining about the living conditions? That didn't get me. I was just like, wow. And I remember one lady, she told me that no matter whatever I did, it was nothing that I could really actually do about the situation.
Based on
and
what?
I was She said no matter if I whatever letters that I sent in or whatever, it was nothing. It was nothing that I could really basically do about the situation. Even if I did have the power, basically, didn't have the power of attorney, they were working. It was like in a sense they were kind of like working against me, until I started filing those particular notices and stuff. That's when they started doing things. But other than that, just a regular letter, nah, they wasn't doing nothing. They wasn't doing a doggone thing.
Wait, 1 second. So you're saying you reached out to the Broad County Housing Authority?
Yes, I did.
And
yes,
they
I did.
told you that there's nothing you could do?
I remember, and the lady, her name was Garcia, and she told me in her own words, and when I'm stating this whole everything that I'm telling you, I speak from facts. I don't speak from emotion. I speak from facts. And this is what was told to me, and this is what was said to me. That's why I find it so peculiar that if I'm telling you about a situation that is very harmful, and if I was in a situation, a government situation, to where I can make moves and step in on a situation and help a person, I'm going to make sure that I get that. And it's dealing with somebody that's an elderly person. I'm going to make sure and do whatever I could to get that elderly person up out of that situation into a better into a better living quarters, right? But here it is, and this is just recently, like within the matter of 2 months and everything, me and my mother still are in this situation. But because I filed the proper papers and everything, and so now they're trying to really to do something about the situation.
Who is trying to do something? The
Now
landlord?
Broward County Housing Authority is trying to do something about the situation. But before then, they weren't trying to do nothing.
Okay, so what were these new documents that you filed, and who did you file them with?
The documents that I actually filed, I filed it with the landlord, right? And I also sent a copy to Broward County Housing Authority. So once they received those documents, then which in the documents were a notice to cure, and once they got that notice to cure, which they had 7 days, after that 7 days, rent can be withheld, and that can be placed towards a new apartment somewhere else, right?
Okay.
And that is a notice to terminate and vacate the premises. So once they got that, okay, now all of a sudden, they want to kind of like try to do things. But beforehand, when I've been complaining about whenever they did repairs to this apartment, whether it was the first owner to the if it was the previous owner or if it was the current owner, basically they always secondhand things. They always secondhand things. And it's always been like that. We had one incident here where the water pipe had burst.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I started finding out a lot of things. And you spoke about it earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you and speak on it, but now I can touch up on it. When you spoke about there's an agreement that everybody must sign, there's terms of agreement on your lease agreement.
Correct.
Right? When that water pipe had burst, and before my mom, and when my mom did sign the lease agreement, but when that water pipe had burst, and we had to get some help. Suppose there was a company that was out. I can't remember the name of them. They came in and they assisted.
Mm-hmm.
The guy said he needed someone to contact to where he could afford the bill to.
Right.
So my mom went in her room and she got out whatever information that she can get. And she pulled out her lease agreement. So the guy that was really trying to actually help out, he was the one that was looking at her lease agreement. And he said, hold on. He said, man, I don't mean to be nosy or anything. But he said, listen, there's something that I want to show you. He said, I'm looking at this lease agreement. And he said, everything in this lease agreement is predatory. He said, this whole lease agreement is a predatory lease agreement because they were trying to tax my mother for every single thing. If there was pest control problems, they were trying to make her pay for it. If any given thing, the toilet went wrong, they were trying to make her pay for everything. The stove went out. She had to pay for everything. She's paying rent and she's paying for repairs.
What?
And still, yes. This is why I'm like, in America, this is going on in America.
So hold up. This, you didn't sign this lease agreement with your mom. Your mom signed this lease agreement prior, and then you moved with her to take care of her.
No, when she signed that agreement, that lease agreement. That's the second one. When she signed that, I wasn't present. So I don't know what was stated on that agreement. That's how they've been getting over on her, because they know she was elderly. So she couldn't comprehend a lot of things because they knew something was going wrong with her upstairs. Something was wrong. So because I wasn't around and I was trying to work at the time, they said, okay, she can just sign. But she has been hiding things from me all along. So by time I get a chance to get in to step into something, okay, then that's when I'm finding out all these things she done got herself into. And it's just a big nightmare for me. So I got to fight this thing, all alone by myself. I had no help at all. I'm learning things as I go. Thanks to a couple of people that I reached out to, and y'all know who you are that helped me out and just trying to keep my head sane, about this situation. But if it wasn't for, those individuals that tried to reach out, and even yourself, and I thank you very much,
You're welcome.
And I just wanted to tell the followers to make sure that you click, like, and share, because he has some good topics, man, that he has a very good radio show. And I met Kevin a couple of years back, and I was just jamming out in this event that we were at, and
the
we
workshop,
just kind of like bonded from there, but something came to my mind and say, man, hey, I can't do this by myself. So I reached out to him. But all these things have been taking place, and it's been in the dark, and until I can get it to the, I'm putting it out there in the light so people can see, how people, you got crooked landlords, scum lords, that'll take advantage of elderly people. and I just found that that's just very nasty and peculiar that people can be so nasty and detrimental, to someone, it just ate me up inside.
Patrick, this is mind blowing, to say the least, and challenging on a few different from a few different angles. One being that here it is, you're in a situation that you're uncomfortable in. You have the option to leave. Uh, Another one being your mother's determination to hide the lease or the details of the lease from you. And I'm I'm pretty much gonna take this from a perspective of respect. And you're old school. Nothing like the 20 and 30-year olds of today that they don't care. They're gonna do whatever comes to mind. So here it is that they want to go look at the lease. You will say to your mom, let me see the lease. And your mother will say no, and you will take that. Because that's how you were raised. But younger adults are gonna say, I don't care what you wanna say. This isn't gonna work. We are going to move. I want to see
That
this lease.
that's where I got.
So
That's where I got to.
so and I'm here to tell you that there's nothing wrong really with going to that place. Because as I alluded to before, once a man, twice a child. You're gonna have to work twice as hard on your mother because you have to deal with self-limiting beliefs as it relates to the respect that you have for your mother.
Right.
And that has to be overridden by the amount of care that you're providing for your mother. So here it is
Right.
now that the focus needs to be your mother's and yours because your health is being affected too. Mold is no respecter of sex, gender, or relationship status. Well, sex and gender is the same thing. Sex, age, relationship status.
I get you. I get you.
You know, so you are going to have to take the bull by the horns. Now, here it is that you have discovered the details of this rental agreement. Have you taken any legal steps?
I'm taking legal action right now, and the action that I took it was to vacate the premises. So I'm trying to make um arrangements now to relocate to Central Florida.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is over seven over 7 years ago, and I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful,
Hmm.
but I reached out to my brother over 7 years ago, and I explained to him about the situation and about the living conditions.
Yes.
Um, I guess he ignored it and didn't take it as serious as I did because, I was learning, more and more each day. And it got so bad to the point where it's just like, okay, I can't do it on my own and I need help. So finally he decides, yeah, he's gonna try to, help, but that should have been done over 7 years ago. Here it is, I'm left in a situation where I got hit with diabetes in 2021,
Mm.
right? And that's also related to mold. And though some people might not see that's not related to mold, mold eats off of the sugar in the human body.
Mm.
Research it for yourself. Go online.
Yeah.
So now that I'm able, to get a little bit of help to try to reach, and get us up out of this situation, um, that's my whole goal, to get up out of this situation. And if you got individuals that's, willing to, to help donate, I created a GoFundMe page, for whatever help that I can get.
Yes.
Um, and I'll put it down in the description, or you can put it down in the description for people to to see if I can get whatever help I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any attorneys out here that's listening and that's willing to help out pro bono, I would appreciate the the help, because I can't afford to do things right now. I'm a diabetic, and sometimes I don't even have energy in my body. But I'm sitting up here and I'm trying to go out there and I'm trying to work and to do whatever I could, and it's just like everything is on me, and I found it to be very unfair, for people that I've asked, that actually, for the religious organization that she attends. I've asked those individuals for help, and it seems like one it went in one ear and one out, and out the other. And just recently, yeah, they did take up a little small offering, but that's after the fact that I had filed the paperwork. But before then, everything was all good and dandy. And, dandy. You know, nobody wasn't trying to help out, and still
Right, right.
nobody is trying to reach out to me and say, "Oh, okay, what can we actually do to make this thing a little bit better for you? A little bit smoother and better for the both of you."
Right.
Nobody is doing that. But they're reaching out to her and trying to, get things going the way that they wanted to go for her. But it's like, okay, I'm in this picture too, and I'm the one that got, I have to deal with this here whole situation. So we got to relocate to the family up in Central Florida, because it doesn't make sense to stay here in South Florida when all the family is in Central Florida. So
Gotcha.
I've been fighting this battle all by myself. I had no help from the family, nothing at all. And that's the saddest part. Everything that I'm telling you, like I said, I speak from facts, not emotions. I respect everything on what you were saying, that I got to take the bull by the horns. And believe me, that's what I had to do. That's what I had to do. That was the only way that I can get results. And
Mm-hmm.
when I got the results that I got, okay, and now it's coming, to light.
Okay, so now you're taking legal action in the form of leaving the unit.
Yes.
Um, did you solicit help from an attorney in this process?
Yes, I did reach out to an attorney, and I was recently told that there was nothing that they can that they didn't want to even get involved in the case. Everybody seems to keep taking the attorney's side, has when the attorney basically had been, I mean, not the attorney,
The landlord
when
side.
yeah, all the landlords had been given several notices to do something about this situation, and neither one of them were doing anything until when I stepped in and I got that power of attorney. When I finally got that power of attorney, and I started filing those notices and everything, that's when they now want to step up to the plate and try to do something about the situation. But my mother even came to the conclusion. She said, regardless now of whatever they do, she don't even want to be here no more, because she's tired of dealing with it. The second, when I just recently had the mold test done,
Yes.
by the mold inspector. Before the mold inspector came inside of the house, which he was like 5 feet away,
Yeah.
5 walking feet
Yeah.
away. Before he can even step into the house, he was like, ooh, I can smell that mold all the way over here. When they had the housing inspector came out, the housing inspector said the same exact thing. Same exact thing. They failed the inspection to the apartment because of all the allegations that I stated. All the allegations on what I stated. They came in here to this apartment because they thought it was just me just making up allegations. But when they finally came out here, which I had kept telling them, why are y'all relying on the testimony of a 75-year-old woman when I'm telling you about all these things and what's going on? When they finally came in here and I showed them about everything that I alleged, I told them about the toilet. I told them about the tub area with the towel. I told them about the light fixture in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
How that doesn't work. The AC, when the previous owner, when the AC had broke down, he sent out a guy to fix the air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
But he gave that guy specific instructions. Don't fix the heater part. When he left, that heater part never was fixed. So at time when a cold front hit down here,
Yeah.
and we called Zenith Way, and we told Zenith Way, hey, this AC, the heater doesn't work. They told us to open up the oven and turn that on, and that'll heat up the house.
Are you serious?
Yes. Everything what I'm telling you, I speak from facts, not emotions.
Did they tell that? Did they give you that information in writing, or they just told you that over the phone?
They told my mother that over the phone. They told her that over the phone. And the reason why they didn't want to fix the AC, the reason why they didn't want to fix the AC is because they know the heat will bring out the mold. They've been covering up things all this time. This whole time they've been covering up everything.
Wow. So you've spoken
and
with attorneys. Sorry. You've spoken with attorneys, and they don't want to do anything in with regard to the situation.
in a sense,
Who are the owners of this property?
the owners of the correct owners of the property right now is Zenith Way. So when being that I know how to go out and find information,
Yes.
I went on the somebiz.org and I typed in their name.
Mm-hmm.
Their name popped up. Both particular addresses that's under Zenith Way. Both of them are PO boxes. They don't have a physical address to where you can actually go to them. They're PO boxes.
Okay, so their offices are located where?
Don't know where the office is at. When I try to get in contact with them and I find and to find out where they're particularly located at, I can't. And when I asked my mother, she won't. I got that address, but like I said, the address is a physical address. I mean, a
A PO
PO
box.
box.
Yes.
So as far as knowing where their office is at, you don't know where the office is at.
So who owns Zenith Way? Who is the contact that you speak with whenever you need to contact someone, a representative from Zenith Way?
Only person that I know, and I found out this when they had the housing inspector came here, and he called this guy on the phone named Ricardo, and he told Ricardo, he said, "Hey, we gotta fail this inspection because this guy was right. All his allegations on what he was stating it's right here in front of my face." He said, "You guys got to fix this." And the only guy that I know, his name was Ricardo.
Okay. So you have a lease from a landlord that you can't reach?
I've been trying to reach him. My mother says she gave me a couple of numbers, right? The numbers that I call, that number doesn't work. I reached out to housing authority. I told them about the situation, about being able to get in contact with this dude. I guess they seem to have a way to get in contact with him, but when I'm trying to get in contact with him, I can't. I can get in contact with them by email, and that's it. And they call my mother.
What is that email?
Say that again.
What is that email?
Cherie dot assistance dot gmail.
Wait. So the email is a personal email.
Yep.
And not to say that businesses can't have Gmail email accounts. You know, I have a Gmail account. So that not to say that that can't happen. But you get an email from this landlord that you're paying rent to. And there's no other contact information, just this email?
They contact her, and when I try to get the information from her, she gives me a number, but the number doesn't work.
So how do they contact her?
They contact her by phone. And by
but
time,
that number doesn't work?
And I'm telling you the God's honest truth. When I'm looking through her phone, I'm sweeping through the numbers. I don't see that number, no number popping up with them. The previous calls, no nothing. It's just it's strange and bizarre. And she's 75 years old, so she doesn't know how to work a phone. And so if they probably are calling, they're probably calling from a private number.
Even that doesn't make sense. So even with the email, there isn't a contact number on the email?
I'm going to tell you what the email is right now. I'll show you what the email is right now. Give me 1 minute.
Sure. For those of you just joining in, I'm talking with Patrick here. And he's a South Florida resident here in the Fort Lauderdale area. And he's telling us, he's sharing with us what his living condition has been like, and for the past 7 years, how it has deteriorated, and some of the struggles that he has been through in trying to rectify it in some sort of way. And he lives with his elderly mother, whom he is her caregiver. It's just them here in South Florida. There are other family members, but they live in Central Florida. But as they are here in South Florida, the situation under which that they have been living are less than favorable because of financial constraints. They've had to work through what they can and work with what they can. Now, with what Patrick has been telling us up until this point and showing us by way of some of the pictures that I showed earlier, is that there has been a roach issue and a mold issue, two very big issues. And then there are also some other issues as it relates to the air conditioning and the heater with that works with the air conditioning. And I know, in South Florida we don't really need to use the heat that much. However, cold fronts are real. And it gets really cold inside these South Florida homes. So sometimes you're going to have to use the heat. Now, to be told by a landlord, hey, turn on the oven, it'll warm you up. That's crazy to me. Especially when you have an elderly woman or an elderly person living in the facility. But not only that, here it is a landlord that you cannot pick up your phone and contact. What kind of landlord is that?
That's my point. That's my whole point.
On the lease, is there a telephone number on the lease?
No telephone number. Everything is being hidden from me. Everything is being hidden from me. And like I said, when I started filing notices and everything and stuff, then a little of the information started coming out. But it was just, it's just like one person was trying to cover their tail and the other person was trying to cover their tail. And it's just like, okay, I felt that I had to go a little bit higher, in order to get some information out. And so one of the young ladies that I said that worked over there to Broward County Housing Authority, her name was Tiffany Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect, because I wouldn't want anyone to lose their job. But for you to tell somebody and they're going through horrible living conditions, and for you to tell to somebody that no matter what you do, no matter what paperwork that you file, there's nothing that you can do about it. Even if I didn't have, I didn't have the power of attorney at that particular time. There is such thing as the United States Constitution. And under the 8th Amendment, and it says that a person is supposed to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. Also, under the United States Constitution, it is an equal protection law where everybody is supposed to be treated equally. Also, under Florida statute 83.60, I know the law very good now.
Mm.
A landlord is supposed to provide a living condition that is healthy for the tenant. From the time that we moved into this apartment, it has not been healthy. And there is no way that you can get that point across to anybody and say, hey, that was a good, healthy living environment for a 75-year-old woman.
Okay.
You be the judge.
So, as it relates to the Constitution, I know that is the United States Constitution is interestingly written, one of the shortest in the world, and as such is open to interpretation, and can be argued and manipulated by those who are versed in the law to suit a particular situation. However, the Florida statutes 83.60 that you mentioned, that speaks to what a landlord's responsibility is. That is something that is across the board, across the United States. A landlord, it's an informal agreement, and this happened in the early years of Florida civil law, and so it moved from a time when landlords had too much power, and so to balance out things between landlords and tenants, here came this agreement. Now it doesn't have to be written into the lease, and as a result, things like what you mentioned, where everything is left up to the tenant to take care of, yeah, that is predatory and grounds for argument. I don't know how it was that they have been able to put this lease out for someone to sign it, but Zenith Way, correct? That's their name.
Yeah, Zenith Ways.
That has nothing but a PO box. That has no telephone number. That has no website. Correct?
They got a website, but it's not really per se a website. You just type in and you just Google in the name.
You know what? I'm gonna look right now.
Yeah, type it in. I type it in myself.
And it's ZENITH.
Yeah, Ways.
And this is Zenith Ways Realty.
Zenith Ways. You're gonna go, when you type in Zenith Ways, it should be,
because I'm getting a street. So are we looking at Zenith Way Realty, Zenith Way Homes, Zenith Way what?
try Zenith Ways Reality.
Okay.
And it should be like a goldish light screen, a goldish and brownish light screen, white and goldish light screen.
Okay, so I'm getting hit with a few returns here. Is it Zenith Realty Group being South Florida real estate?
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up for myself.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And so that way I can tell you exactly what it is. Thing acts up sometime.
Or are they a property management company?
It could be. They could be. I don't know what they are, but I'm trying to get down to the root of it. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Do you think? Thanks again to my segment sponsors, Pulse Media Group, Altheimer Healing Heavenly Hands, Reggae Global Entertainment, and sponsors for this segment. Let me go ahead and put them up right now. McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. That's not it. Doing strange things here, this computer. Here we go. McNeil Trucking. Thank you to my segment sponsors. Truly appreciate of each and every one of you. Thank you for those that are listening in, those who are sharing, those who are spreading the word, those who are concerned. Yeah, we're going to put up the information as it relates to the GoFundMe in just a moment. We're trying to figure out this reality, this landlord, that to see if we can actually get through to them, see what questions they can answer for us as it relates to, because clearly this is not going to stop here. And Patrick cannot be the only one who is having this experience. You have neighbors that are next door to you, right? Because adjoining units would probably have the same issues.
Okay, now let me speak on that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a young lady. It was two young ladies that moved out in an apartment, and I so happened to walk past there, and one of the same repairmen that came here in this apartment
Yes.
and repaired the door, which we had repaired over 5 times, not one time, but 5 times. This guy came here to this apartment, and this guy even stated that, hey, this door needs to be replaced altogether. But that's a different story.
Wait. You said repair the door? You mean this door?
Yep, that right there. Exactly.
5 times? This repair?
We had to call them out here to have that fixed over 5 times.
This isn't even safe.
It is still messed up.
And we talked here. We talked about things that landlords are responsible for. Yeah, a safe, healthy environment is a responsibility of a landlord, because you're paying for this facility. You're paying for that as a part of your rent. That's not even close to safe.
That's my point. So now, get into the girls that used to stay into this other apartment,
Yes.
right? And I seen one of the repairmen, the same repairman that came in here and tried to help fix that door, right? Me and him developed the bond.
Okay.
And so I asked him, I say, hey man, what's going on with this apartment? Why these girls moved out of the apartment? And I questioned them and they never told me. And when I actually went in there and I looked down by the toilet area, it seemed like they had a termite problem. Because you ever notice how things like, if you ever seen termites before, where you see like the little powdery like substance,
Yes.
on how they eat
Yes.
things down to a grain?
Yes.
That's what I seen in that apartment.
Mm.
And so I was like, wow. So it was kind of strange, because when they moved out, there was another couple that moved in there, right?
Yes.
They didn't even stay in there a hot 6 months. A hot 6 months. So now, being that all this happened, Zenith's Way has other properties. And so now I'm gonna get back to when I did find give them the first when I did give them the first
Notice.
notice about the mold,
Yes.
not the notice to cure, but the results of the mold test.
Mm-hmm.
When I first gave that to them, they came back to my mother and they threatened my mother. They said that if I said anything else about the mold, they were going to evict us.
Okay.
And they scared my mother up so bad she was crying.
You and I were talking, and you said you had to call the police because somebody came there banging on the door trying to break in, something to that effect. What was that about?
So Zenith's Way was supposed to come out here.
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to do repairs to the apartment after the notice of cure was given.
Okay.
when it was arranged with the housing authority, we had to call back because my mother wasn't feeling good at the time. I was going through complications because I'm a diabetic now.
Right.
Feeling very weak. Had to go and get her some medical attention. Notice that she had just came out of the hospital for a stroke. She hasn't been feeling right ever since.
Right.
I haven't been feeling right. So we explained to them that, hey, at this particular time that you're supposed to come out, we're going to have to reschedule that. And that was explained to them. And we told them, say, hey, you guys can't come out at a particular time. Right. Because my mother is not feeling good. And I think I'm going to have to go and get her to the hospital.
Yes.
They came out the very next day. And around about 6 p.m., this guy comes, bams on the door. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, who is this bamming on my door? Like that. So then he tries to make an entry to get inside the house. He places the key in the door. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Who is this? So I automatically just kicked in the street mode and I did whatever I had to do because I didn't know who was this trying to get inside of the house.
Right.
So I was trying to protect my mother and protect myself at the same time. Then the individual, he left. But before he left, when he stuck his key in the door, he had an already propped down like the police and shoved his shoulder inside of the door and kicked it at the same time, like he was trying to raid my house, like he was a law enforcement officer trying to raid somebody's house for drugs. And I'm like, wow, really?
So basically, you were forcing the door back or forcing the door shut while this guy was trying to force it open.
Yeah, because I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know who this guy was at all. So, I'm not knowing anything at all. 2 days later, my mother said they said they sent out a notice to her about the situation that they were supposed to be coming out here. And it was already explained by the housing authority that, hey, this is rescheduled and you can't come out at that particular time. Housing authority already knew that my mother had recently just had a stroke.
Yes.
So it was a possibility I would have had to take her right back out.
Right.
When they came here and they did that and they did that foolishness, it could have easily just put my mother right back into the hospital because she was so petrified and she was so afraid.
Yes,
because she didn't know who it was, and and like I said, my street instincts kicked in. And if I would have went to some old ways, I would have went out there and I would have handled business like I had to handle it, but I didn't compromise my mother's security,
Understood.
So my job was the hold off and to try to see what was going on. But the very next day, I went and filed a police report against these guys.
Excellent. You did the right thing. in my opinion. First of all, you're coming out to do repairs. You don't show up at 6 p.m. unless that was the arrangement with the tenant. That's not the time to show up to do repairs.
Exactly.
And so you guys had no such arrangement. Here he is coming banging on the door. You clearly he knows that there is someone inside, but yet still he's pushing a key and forcing the door open. Come on,
trying
now.
to push the door open.
Did you find anything on that search for Zenith Way that you were doing on the computer just now?
The search for Zenith Ways?
Yes.
I got Zenith Ways LLC 5641 Riverside Drive, Unit 204 B1, Coral Springs. Same information.
All right. Zenith Way.
Zenith Ways LLC 5641.
LLC. Zenith Ways LLC.
5641 Riverside Drive, Unit 204 B1, Coral Springs.
Okay, so
it should have been the first. It should have been the first one that says home research. Dot safe dot. Dot safe sfgate.com.
wait, hold up now. Let me see what's going on here. There's a Zenith Realty Group. It's not that one. So this one, that's 5641 Riverside Drive. Current owners Zenith Way. That's a property.
That's what whatever I came up with, it was a P.O. box. And I went to both of them. I physically went to both of them, me and my mother.
All right, so when I look for Zenith Way, so it's Zenith Ways Zenith Ways LLC.
Right.
Okay. Zenith Ways LLC, as according to Sunbiz,
okay,
is principal address 6574 North State Road 7.
Yeah, that's
Coconut Creek.
That's that. And then there's another address that comes under that. And that's right down the street from it, but that's on Lyons Road.
Now, there is a registered agent who is Srinwas Ganadewal.
I don't know him.
Well, that's the registered agent, the manager of Zenith Ways LLC.
Okay.
And the address is the same address, 6574 North State Road 7. I guess Unit 175, Coconut Creek.
That's a P.O. box.
That is a P.O. box.
Yep. USP to the USPS store.
That's interesting. let's go ahead and pull that address up. Yes, it is. I know exactly where this is. That
I,
is
I,
right by the post office. Yes.
I told you I speak from facts, not emotions. That's right there by the Publix.
That
And it's
is
mobile homes
crazy.
right next to it.
Yes. That is crazy. And so here you have it's a UPS store. And so here you have these I don't even know what to call them, landlords that cannot be found, but yet still they're collecting your money. So you pay to a bank account, and you pay
You
directly.
you pay you pay a money order and you send it to that address.
Wow. All right. So these people are making sure to cover their tracks.
Exactly. Exactly. Now you see my point?
But somebody knows who they are. And you've contacted the housing authority and they're telling you that there's nothing that they can do.
Housing authority keep playing with they keep trying to cover them, cover up for them.
Yeah. There's something more going on here.
They covering up for them.
This
Everything that
doesn't
I
make
told
sense.
you, I'm speaking facts. I ain't hiding nothing. I'll take a lie detector test.
In fact, I'll just let me just go ahead and show everyone what it is that I was just looking at here real quick before I get off of this. Here we go. So here are the findings on sunbiz.org. Zenith Ways LLC, filed and effective from 2016. It's an active status LLC. There's the address, the principal address, which is a post office box. Here we go. Right here. Ship and print here. It's a UPS store.
Yep.
So that's the address. Now, whomever it is that this manager, Srinivas Ganadewal, whomever that is, well, I guess it's a search and find at this point. But best believe we're gonna go searching and we're gonna find someone because somebody's gonna have to answer some questions. Patrick, I want to thank you for taking the steps to speak up and speak out. Thank you for taking the steps to even relocate to get your mother into a safe place and yourself. But at the same time, you have taken up a fight. And this is a necessary fight. Because gone should be the days when people are being taken advantage of this way. I would love to get a copy of that lease.
I'll send it to you as soon as we get off. I'll send it to you. As a matter of fact, I'll send it to you right now.
Thank you. Because this is the kind of thing that you would expect someone representing you in a city office, state office, county office. If the powers that be, the agencies that are put in place that a tenant can go to seek help, if they're not helping, then you have to go somewhere. You have to be able to go somewhere. Whether as a resident of this country or a citizen of this country. Definitely as a citizen of this country. You should be able to go somewhere. But once you are signing a lease agreement, the bottom line, the basic things in that agreement relate to one, security, and two, health. Basic. So you're supposed to have a safe, healthy environment. And if it is not safe and not healthy, you're required to make sure that that happens. This padding of this lease agreement to put all the repairs on the tenant, that's crazy. Repairs up to a certain figure, $150, $200, understood.
Oh, they
Outside of
was
that,
charging her for everything.
no, that's not how this works. So, Mr. Ganadewal, we're coming to ask you some questions, sir. That's bottom line. We're coming to ask you some questions. Did the person that was trying to get into your unit ever identify themselves?
I don't recall anybody trying to identify themselves. That's why I got kind of like a little bit, shaky a little bit, because I'm like, who in the world is this trying to come up in my house? Hey, he would have caught the business, and even if he did identify himself, he would have still caught the business, because you don't try to come barging up in somebody's house like that at late night like that,
Yeah.
And my mother could have been walking around this house in her underwear, or something if I wasn't here, or
right.
I could have been walking around in my underwear and they trying to barge up in the house like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
right.
that's just very unprofessional. You come in a decent time, and stuff like that. You don't come. It's a professionality about everything.
Patrick, we're gonna be talking about this some more. We're gonna be asking some questions. Hopefully,
You
we can
got
get
the
some
lease.
answers.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you. And
we'll talk privately offline about it.
Yeah, and we're gonna revisit this to continue, because it doesn't just end here.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, get some rest. Stay safe. I wish you and your mom all the best. And continue the recovery for your mom. We're gonna be looking into this some more. We're gonna be working on this, bro.
I just needed some help. That's all that I needed.
Please give me the information for the GoFundMe.
All right, I'm gonna give it to you right now.
So that I can tell me what it is, so that
I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Oh, okay. In fact, you can put it into the chat.
Okay.
KevinStew.com. Yeah.
Hold on.
Thank you to my affiliates. We're going to be parting company with you guys in just a few minutes. One Harmony Radio, Island Worldwide, Allowap Radio, Deucet Media Group, WGLRO, Reggae Pulse Radio, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, PEMGTV.com, Zeno FM, thank you all. Did I leave anybody out? I don't think I did. And if I did, I do apologize. Thank you to my segment sponsors. Truly appreciate of each and every one of you. Remember, tomorrow we catch up again with Healthy Love. As a matter of fact, we talked about mold tonight. Patrick told us some things about mold. Let's look some more into mold in Healthy Love tomorrow. How about that? Changing things up as I go along, but I'm at liberty to do that. So join me tomorrow night for Healthy Love. I'm going to stick around here just a little bit longer to share the information as it relates to the GoFundMe for Patrick and his mom.
I'm trying to get into it and it won't let me. Oh, I got it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me type. You say I can type it into the the thing?
Just go to kevinstew.com and right there in the chat, and you click on the chat, just type the message right there.
All right, hold on. All right. kevinstew.com.
Yep. So click on the chat.
Join chat.
Join chat.
Okay.
And just type the message right there in that box. Or you can copy and paste the link there. That works too.
Okay.
That way we can share the information with those that are listening in, those who want to revisit the page. You go to visit the page, you'll see it right there. So
it's right there.
Yes, sir. So that's right if y'all visit kevinstew.com and go into the chat room, that is not coming up. Was something missing off of that link, Patrick?
No, that's the link that I got right there. Hold on, let me redo it.
I know what's missing. You're missing the colons off that link. I mean the slash, the forward slash. So it's HTTPS and then the forward colon and 2 forward slashes. So that's what's missing from the link.
2 forward slashes.
And then 11 GoFund.me.
It's still not coming up.
Okay. So this one looks like it now. Now we're talking.
It's working?
Yes, that one works.
Okay.
So it says, help us escape the mold and relocate. So if you visit GoFundMe, you can put in Patrick's name, Patrick Hair, and it's spelled just like the hair on your head. He's the organizer of this GoFundMe. And so the link, you can just visit kevinstew.com and go into the chat and you will see the link right there. You can go from the link and go into the GoFundMe page and make your contribution there to help with the relocation efforts from this situation so Patrick and his mom can get to the family in Central Florida. It is GoFundMe, gofund.me, M-E, /44465A62. That's the quick link. All right, so GoFundMe, and like I said, the forward slash GoFund.me/44465A62. That's the quick link for the GoFundMe. Or you can just go to GoFundMe and search for Patrick's name, Patrick Hair, Hair. And you can take it from there. Share to your friends, share to your family members, share to everybody. Because this is only a part in the journey to getting to Central Florida, leaving this situation that they have been in for the past few years. And it's challenging. We know it's challenging. So thank you for sticking in there, Patrick. I tip my hat to you. It takes some type of resolve, some type of determination to want to work through a situation like this, and to try to be there for your mother and to be there with your mother throughout the whole thing. So thank you for not giving up. Thank you for sticking into the fight and seeing it out through the end. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to make some phone calls. All right?
Thank you.
All right. Not a problem, man. You take care of yourself. Have a great night. We will talk.
I want to thank Miss Caldwell, and I want to thank Miss Monica Jones for trying to help me out and let my mom know I love her, and I go to the end of the earth for her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you've been going on that journey. So I see it happening. Take care of yourself, bro. We'll talk.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick here, talking about his living conditions right here in South Florida. It hasn't been easy, but let me tell you something. I'm going to share this lease agreement with you guys. We're going to continue this. We're going to have a part 2 to this broadcast because this is crazy. That's all I can say. This is crazy. As I get out of here, though, a little bit of Cesar in the background. The track is called Morning in Gideon. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. Do remember, look out for someone in your community. Your community is not just development that you live in. It spreads far and wide. So those that you pass in the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Right here, kevinstew.com and affiliates. Y'all take care of yourselves. Catch you tomorrow. Healthy love. Peace out. Good night from South Florida. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.